Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty crazy news now because the drama, once again, with the Bayonetta voice actor is coming up once again. So we actually had the initial statement that came out a few days ago discussing the fact that she was only offered $4,000 for the total works of the Bayonetta series, but also some other very tasteful words coming out with that one, stating how that she kind of deserved more from her credibility, that she pretty much was Bayonetta herself, and a lot of other really big statements kind of also requesting the fans to boycott the Bayonetta series when it does come out. But the intriguing thing now is that more information as of today has now come out in regards to this Bayonetta 3 voice actor, where these are all rumors and also as well, allegations too. We'll never know until we see proper contracts and all the such. But for this, apparently, it was actually a way larger portion of pay, and as well, we have also had a lot more drama tied on into it as well. So let's go talk about this and talk about everything, and I would love to hear your thoughts because it's definitely been a little bit more on the polarizing side when it comes to the gaming community. Now, as well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, and for our $500 giveaway with the links down below. I also have the Twitter and Twitch stream as well if you guys want for the bonus entries, and the Amazon and Target links too, and let's dive into the video. So very first and foremost, as I mentioned, if you guys have missed it, the Bayonetta star herself was basically calling out the, Nintendo and also everyone else involved in here when it comes to the game because they just weren't actually getting paid a lot of money. And this is why everything's going kind of more on the crazier side, because now we're seeing brand new voice actors recently call them out, but as well also apparently some of the news is also different too as well. So very first and foremost, we had the Platinum Games revealed earlier this month as well that Jennifer Hale would be replacing Helena Taylor as the voice of Bayonetta. So in case you guys missed this. So basically Hale actually then go and made her own statement mentioning how she's not really at liberty to speak about the entire situation because she's under an NDA and she's working with the company and the game's not even out yet and they may not want to discuss stuff too in terms of lawyer talk or whatever, but her message probably clearly vetted by lawyers with regards to Bayonetta 3. As a longtime member of the voice acting community, I support every actor's right to be paid well and have advocated consistently for this for years. Anyone who knows me or has followed my career will know that I have a great respect for my peers and that I am an advocate for all members of the community. I'm under an NDA and I'm not at liberty to speak regarding this situation. My reputation speaks for itself. I sincerely ask that everyone keeps in mind that this game has been created by an entire team of hardworking, dedicated people, and hope that everyone will keep an open mind about what they've created. So basically, this is like the new actor herself being like, hey, we just made a really cool game. I just did all the voice acting work. I want this game to succeed because if it does well, maybe I can be a part of Bayonetta 4 or other voice acting gigs, and as well as been involved in the community for a long time. But on top of that too, like you don't want to be a part of a game and it gets canceled and flopped because it's also bad for your own proper brand, especially if you're the one who replaced the person. Because you want to be proud of your work, and it's kind of almost like people are saying the initial statements from the original Bayonetta voice actor were kind of rude because she was the new person, so she is still a part of the concept too as well. Now, this also then leads into even more bigger news where we're seeing stuff when it comes to Jason Schreier and other folks out here. So we're hearing sources from a lot of different folks, and we'll do a little bit more of a deep dive with it, stating last weekend too as well, Bayonetta's former voice actor called for fans to boycott the new game, saying that she was offered just $4,000 total, from all of our understandings, to work on it. Her Twitter videos went viral and stoked a debate over voice acting wages, and the full story is much more complicated, which I also want to go and state my initial thoughts. I do think $4,000, if that's true, was a very low payment. That's not a good price point, and it's very, very low. But now with more information coming out, people are saying that that was $4,000 per recording session. So there'd be multiple voice recording sessions too as well. Now, we're not sure exactly how high or how low that price point actually is, because let's say it's all try to be done in 3 sessions, might be a little bit low. If it's done throughout 10 and you're making $40K, and then you might have some other deals and it takes you a month, may not be as bad, depends on the amount of voice lines, although a lot of Nintendo games don't usually have as many voice lines. So we also had Steven over here mention stating, I recently heard from a good source about $15,000 offer to Taylor, Platinum's second higher offer, I believe, but wasn't able to second source it, hadn't heard about the counter, Jason's got more deals. If the 15K is accurate, note that Taylor is denying Bloomberg's account. There will still be room for debate about what video game actors get paid for the big roles. They still don't get residuals, which I'd also want to go and say too as well. When it comes to that stuff, if the game goes and sells and makes $1 billion, like the prior games made hundreds of millions of dollars, that means that this voice actor may have sold their work for 40, 50K for future marketing, future deals, and as well, it's just maybe not that much money long term. Like, think a lot of movie stars, they'll usually try to go get like movie residuals or revenue deals and stuff like that. Some of the most paid actors usually have gotten money from, like I said, revenue deals. Like if they like say you get like a portion of the Titanic revenue or like the Avatar revenue or even Star Wars revenue, you're gonna make money over like the rest of your life. Now versus just a flat fee, over time you may make a little bit less money if you're including merchandising and all of that. So that kind of ties into the fact of do these voice actors deserve residuals or do they not? And as well, do they deserve higher price points or do they not? I'm always a big fan of pushing people to get paid a nice, respectful, normal human wage, like a normal working wage. So seeing all this type of stuff to me is very nice to see. I want to be able to go and see people able to go, like, afford food, especially with inflation coming in hot. So we have some little Twitter trend over here saying, Platinum offered Helena Taylor between $3,000 to $4,000 per session for at least 5 sessions total, so at least $15,000 to $20,000, according to 2 people familiar with the deal and documentation viewed by Bloomberg. So like they actually have physical proof, at least if it's all legitimate, that was also sent over to Bloomberg. So it's like there's like actual people seeing the contracts and like deals and all that tied on in. In response, the people said, Taylor asked for a 6-figure fee and residuals, and then negotiations fell apart. So she's not only the person that's only offering $4K, which would have been awful, and I would have supported her 100%. New information is suggesting that she could have been paid more money per session, and then she was trying to go for a 6-figure deal, and then residuals too as well. And with on that, the game company's probably like, hey, we can't go give you like $1 million, $2 million, but we can try to see what we can go and do with you guys. Now, I'm going to kind of go be more in the middle on this one. In terms of like, if I was trying to contract this, I would have maybe stuck with the cheaper pay and then try to get residuals, or as well, I would have just went for the pure flat 6-figure fee and then kind of go dip out of the residuals as well. It depends on how long the work was, how long the time was, how long the script was, how much reading you had to do, and also potentials for like a Bayonetta 4 or 5, etc., or spin-off games. So at this point, it kind of seems like the voice actor who got a lot of love and attention may actually have been kind of trying to swindle folks. I do want to go and say, though, you guys shouldn't be jumping the gun because we don't necessarily fully know, but I'm kind of pushing this narrative a little bit more because if they actually have the documentation to prove it, as Jason Schreier has said, who's also been pretty respectful in the gaming community, that doesn't necessarily bode well for her in the first place. On top of that, too, trying to put a boycott for a game that you couldn't just work out a deal with is understandable. You might be upset if you can't work a deal with them in the long term. I probably would be too, but at the same time, you can't call for a boycott just because you didn't get paid as much as you think you'd be worth. Now, I'm always a big proponent. You should get paid what you think you're worth, although sometimes both parties don't see eye to eye with that, especially for maybe more of a, like a smaller Bayonetta type franchise, which is niche but strong, but they may not be able to go and justify the money for it. So basically, Taylor denies this account. In an email to Bloomberg, she called that version of events an absolute lie and said that Platinum is trying to save their booty and their game. So I want to see documentation. I want to see more stuff coming out because it's really going back and forth. And you can kind of see just this really depends on a lot of situations. Taylor's videos have received more than 10 million views on Twitter and led to a deluge of calls from fans and pundits to boycott Bayonetta 3. But the accounts and evidence reviewed by Bloomberg make it clear that those videos were not the whole story. Taylor's videos also led to a barrage of Twitter vitriol and harassment towards Platinum developers and also the new Bayonetta actor Jennifer Hale, who we showed you at the start of this video, who also put out a statement saying that she could not comment and subsequently retweet a telling thread too as well when it comes to people trying to go do some critical thinking at the end of the day. It's unlikely that the full story will get as much traction or as many eyeballs as the original Twitter video, which is true. I'll probably even get less views on this YouTube video on that one, but I figured like might as well have a follow-up because I think a lot of folks are intrigued on it nonetheless. And this basically goes and shows that a lot of interesting questions on who goes first, who makes comments first, and everything else tying on when it comes to press and misunderstanding and payment rights too as well. I think the moral of this story is that people should get paid a proper living working wage, but as well, sometimes if deals fall through, the first thing shouldn't be to go and call out the company. So I'll be very curious to see on what the real story is going to be, because as you guys know, you usually have one story that's usually like, their version of the truth. You have the other version of another side of the truth, and typically in the middle is where the real story lies. So right now we got 2 parts. I want to see where the middle actually lies into this. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. It does seem like this seems a little bit more on the spicier details too. And ideally, well, hopefully this game was just not going to be bad because I do want to play it, I think, and check it out on Twitch. So if you guys want to subscribe with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, Amazon links down below, Twitter and Twitch stream links down below, and the giveaway links too. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.